Hi, I got another project on my hands for the Chevy Nova. I installed an OER brand dash pad. Now it was a lot of work to get that installed because I had to do some modifications, but there was still left with one problem. On either side of the dash pad there's A-pillars, and basically those are the pillars that go on either side of the windshield. Well, there was trim pieces that cover those A-pillars, and those trim pieces are supposed to meet up with the dash pad. Well, they didn't, and what was left is two big gaping holes staring at me every time I drive the car. I stated that it was no big deal and that I would eventually fix it. Well, the time has come for me to finally get that fixed, and I'm going to take you along. So let's get started with the video, and I'll show you how I'm going to remedy this situation. So here's the problem. The dash pad against the A-pillar trim does not match, does not mate up. So there's a big gaping hole. And the same thing goes for the passenger side. It has a hole. Though not as large, but it does have a hole, and that seems to be bothering me every time I drive my car. So I made a template out of very thin aluminum. This is what I came up with. And it's supposed to go, let's see if I can get this in here. It's supposed to go something like that. So it would fill the hole. And on this side, that edge will go all the way to the edge right here, so that I fill that hole as well. And that's the idea. Now the advantage is that this A-pillar trim is made out of steel, so I'm able to use steel to fill in that hole. So the idea is to actually get some steel and mend it with this steel, therefore remaking the A-pillar so that it matches to the new dash pad. So I'm going to rip this out of here and get to work on it. So for this project, I'm going to be using some 22 gauge steel. You can see the thickness there. And that thickness pretty much matches the thickness of the original A-pillar steel. So I thought that it would be perfect to just, use the same gauge steel to do this customization. So I'm going to be cutting it with my trusty Dremel, my favorite tool. And the good thing about this template that I made, it's actually a flat piece of steel that I will be cutting, and I will be shaping it. I won't have to worry about the shape, but the shape is going to match the contours of this A-pillar piece. And it's going to go from right around here, it's going to stretch around, and of course come all the way down to this edge right here. So I'm going to get to work on that. I'm going to cut it out, and we'll see how she goes. So here's the cut that I made. Now notice that it's a lot bigger than the original template, and that is because for this portion of the metal A-pillar, what I ended up deciding on doing was cutting off the lip. You can see that there's a lip, and that lip extended all along the curves. So here's the two pieces that I cut to get rid of the lip, and the plan is to actually put it behind like so that I can weld it to the A-pillar. So that's why I made this larger, and I'm gonna bend it up and see if I can get it to fit, and I'll let you look at it. Okay, so using this as a template to bend up my sheet metal to the shape of this A-pillar, the outside curves and everything, I have made the part that I'm going to be using to place in there. So you can see now how it's taking shape. Okay, so it's all tacked in nicely. And here's the back. I just did a couple spot welds on the inside there just to get it nicely attached. I didn't want to blow through, but over here I got extreme penetration, so I had to kind of file it down, but that doesn't matter because when I do the body work on here, I will blend all that in. That is why I put this sheet metal behind the original sheet metal so that I can do my body work here and get it nice and smooth. And then here's my template, so you can see how much bigger I made it. So right there you can see. So I'll be able to cut that nicely and not worry about being too short. And I got a very secure steel insert. So I'm going to get to work on that. It's going to be tedious because I need to cut and then take it to the car, make sure it fits, and then cut and fit, and basically keep doing that until I get it nice and perfectly aligned with the dash pad. So this is going to be definitely a custom cut. So I'm going to work on that. It's going to take me a while, but I'll show you the finished product. So here it is, fitted in place, and you can see how it is. It's all nicely in there. There's just a little bit of a gap between the dash pad and the steel piece that I added, and it goes all the way around. You can see it's really nicely done. It's welded in place, and now it's all steel. Now you can see the difference in height between the two metals, and the plan is to actually use metal body filler that I have left over to fill that in and blend it in with the level of the original A-pillar. So that's the plan. And then as far as making it look the way it does now, you can see it has like that grainy finish that, I don't know what you call it, it looks like flesh. Well, I noticed that my vinyl has the same exact finish. So since I had wrapped these, and these look killer, I love the way that looks, I decided that I'm going to wrap these with vinyl so that way I have that grain finish the way it's supposed to be stock, and it will cover up all this work here and it'll look all as one piece, nice and uniform. So that's the plan. So now I gotta tackle the other side. Okay, for the passenger side it was a little bit more tricky, more tricky than the driver's side. I thought the passenger side was going to be easy, and that's why I did the driver's side first, but it's looking to be the other way around. Excuse me. So this is the template for the passenger side, and I accidentally cut it, but this is pretty much the setup. And here's the 22 gauge template, and you can see again I'm just repeating what I did for the driver's side. I made it slightly larger so that I can trim it when it's all said and done. So now for this, I'm just going to cut off this lip here, starting from right here, cut all this lip off, and then also cut off the lip that's found here so that I can lay this on the inside of this A-pillar trim and conform it to the shape and contours of this A-pillar trim. So I'm going to take care of that right now with my trusty Dremel. Okay, so now it's welded into position, and now I have to cut it down to match the template. Now I have my original cardboard template, and I think I'm going to use that, but I'm going to double check with my aluminum template. But basically I'm going to put this up against the A-pillar and then scribe a line and cut that excess off, and that should get me very, very close. And then of course I can fine-tune it with the Dremel. Same thing would apply to this side. I have a template here, and can't do it one-handed, but let's see if I can. Basically, it would go like so. And then all I gotta do is just scribe and cut off the excess. That's pretty much it. So I'm gonna get to work on that, and we'll check it out when I got it done. Okay, so I got the passenger side done, and I bolted it in with the original trim screw, so that way I can ensure that it's perfectly aligned with the dash pad. Here's the wraparound. So it came out pretty sweet. So that gap has been filled. And then here's the driver's side. I bolted it in as well so that I can fine-tune the cut around the dash pad. So that came out pretty sweet as well. There's the wraparound. So now that they're pretty much complete, now all I gotta do is take care of that slight difference in height between the new metal and the trim, and it's pretty much gonna look really nice, and it's gonna be ready for the upholstery.